Okay, so XAI just dropped Grok 4, and the numbers are interesting. They're claiming 94% on MMLU and an arena yellow score of 1350, supposedly putting it ahead of everyone else. That's a bold statement, especially when you consider where Grok 3 was just a few months ago. This isn't just another incremental update. It's XAI making a direct play for the top spot in a market that's already saturated with powerful models. Everyone from OpenAI to Google to Anthropic is pushing new iterations every quarter. The race for benchmark supremacy is getting ridiculous, and honestly, the real-world implications sometimes get lost in the marketing hype. Developers are already struggling to pick the right model for their specific use cases, and another best-in-class announcement just adds to the noise. Let's dig into what those numbers actually mean for builders. A 94% on MMLU sounds fantastic, but remember, MMLU is a broad, multiple-choice test. It shows general knowledge, not necessarily deep reasoning or complex problem-solving in a production environment. The arena yellow score of 1350 is more intriguing because it's based on human preference, which often correlates better with user satisfaction. But even there, the methodology can be opaque. What kind of prompts are these models being tested on? Are they adversarial? Are they representative of the typical consumer or enterprise use case? The claim of outperforming Claude Opus 4.7 on GPQA at 68% and Math at 92% is more concrete. GPQA measures complex reasoning, and high scores on Math suggest robust symbolic manipulation, which is crucial for many enterprise applications. A 4 million token context window is massive, certainly useful for processing entire codebases or lengthy legal documents, and real-time web integration is a must-have at this point. The $5 per million input tokens is competitive, but output tokens are usually where costs really add up, and we don't have those numbers yet. Native image and audio input support is a strong move, pushing Grok 4 into true multimodal territory, which is where the industry is clearly headed. The question isn't just if Grok 4 is good, but if it's disruptively good enough to unseat the incumbents for projects already in flight. For teams evaluating new models, this means another heavyweight contender to benchmark against, potentially delaying decisions or forcing reevaluations. For the rest of us, it means the competition is heating up, and we might actually start seeing some price wars or genuinely innovative features emerge from this arms race. Mistral AI just dropped Mistral Large 2, a new open-weights model boasting an insane 1.2 million token context window. This isn't just a bigger number. It's a direct challenge to the closed-source giants, hitting the market today with Apache 2.0 licensing. This release lands at a critical juncture. Developers are constantly wrestling with the trade-offs between proprietary models offering cutting-edge performance and open-source alternatives providing transparency and cost efficiency. The demand for models that can handle massive amounts of input without breaking the bank or locking you into a single vendor has never been higher. Everyone shipping AI products right now is looking for ways to cut infrastructure costs and reduce their reliance on API calls. This isn't just about academic curiosity. It's about the bottom line for every startup and enterprise building on top of large language models. My take: this is a serious shot across the bow, particularly for those relying heavily on models like G-P-T-4o for complex, long-context tasks. Mistral Large 2 isn't just big, it's smart, hitting 91.5% on human eval, which is a strong indicator of its coding prowess. More importantly, Mistral claims it matches G-P-T-4o on multilingual benchmarks, which is huge for global product teams. The underlying architecture, a sparse mixture of experts scaled from 128,000 native parameters, is what enables this massive context without an equivalent explosion in compute cost at inference. Being fully open weights means developers can download it directly from Hugging Face, inspect it, fine-tune it, and run it locally or on their own cloud infrastructure without paying per token. This fundamentally shifts the economics for many applications that require deep dives into documents, code bases, or extensive chat histories. It democratizes access to state-of-the-art long-context processing, offering a compelling alternative to subscription models that can quickly become prohibitively expensive for high-volume use cases. It also means greater control over data privacy and model security, which is a non-negotiable for many regulated industries. The immediate impact will be felt by product teams who can now seriously consider deploying a top-tier, long-context model without the vendor lock-in or the per-token meter running constantly. Expect to see a rapid acceleration in applications that process entire books, lengthy legal documents, or complex software repositories, all powered by an openly available model. This move by Mistral further solidifies the open-source ecosystem as a formidable contender, forcing the proprietary players to innovate even faster or risk losing significant market share to more flexible and transparent alternatives. This is a clear signal that the era of accessible, high-performance AI is truly upon us, and it will reshape how products are built and shipped. NVIDIA just dropped a bombshell, forecasting a jaw-dropping $55 billion in revenue for its second fiscal quarter, a 120% jump year-over-year. This isn't just a slight uptick, it's a massive acceleration, largely fueled by their new Blackwell B200 GPUs. They're projecting to ship 1 million of these units in the coming quarters, which is an insane number for such specialized hardware. This news hits at a critical juncture. The AI gold rush has been building for years, but the supply chain for the chips powering it has been a constant bottleneck. Everyone from tech giants to startups has been scrambling for compute, and NVIDIA has been the undisputed king of that hill. With the global economy showing signs of instability and many companies tightening their belts, this kind of growth from a bellwether like NVIDIA sends a clear signal about where a significant portion of capital is still flowing. It's a stark reminder that even amidst broader economic uncertainty, the demand for foundational AI infrastructure remains insatiable. My red, this isn't just about selling more chips. It's about NVIDIA entrenching itself deeper into the core infrastructure of the AI future. The $50 billion in data center revenue they pulled in during Q1, with hyperscalers like Microsoft alone ordering 500,000 units, shows exactly who's buying. These aren't small businesses. These are the companies building the next generation of cloud services and AI models. The gross margins expanding to 79% tell you everything you need to know about their pricing power and the lack of viable alternatives at scale. What we're seeing is an accelerated consolidation of AI compute power in the hands of a few major players, with NVIDIA as the primary enabler. If you're building any product that relies on AI, you're either directly or indirectly paying the NVIDIA tax. The promise of competition, with other players like AMD and Intel trying to catch up, still feels distant when you see numbers like these. The lead NVIDIA has established with its CUDA ecosystem and now Blackwell is becoming almost insurmountable in the short term. This makes every decision about your AI architecture a de facto bet on NVIDIA's roadmap. For anyone shipping products that leverage AI, this forecast means two things. Expect continued high costs for cutting-edge compute, and understand that the pace of innovation for AI models will only accelerate, leaving those without access to this kind of power further behind. AMD just dropped their Q1 numbers, and they're looking strong. Total revenue hit $7.4 billion, beating analyst expectations by a solid 8%. But the real headline here? Their AI accelerator sales, specifically for the MI300X chip, skyrocketed 250% year-over-year, raking in $3 billion. That's not just growth. That's a full-blown gold rush in action. This isn't just another quarterly report. It's a direct indicator of where the money is flowing in the semiconductor space right now. NVIDIA has been the undisputed king of AI chips, but AMD's MI300X is clearly carving out a significant chunk of market share, and quickly. Enterprises and research institutions are pouring investment into AI infrastructure, and they need silicon to power it. The demand for high-performance computing, especially for large language models and complex AI workloads, is insatiable, and that's a massive tailwind for anyone who can ship product at scale. Now, for those of us building and shipping tech, this surge for AMD is more than just a financial footnote. It tells us that the scramble for AI compute capacity is intensifying, and customers are diversifying their suppliers. No single vendor can meet the entire market demand right now, and frankly, nobody wants all their eggs in one basket anyway. The fact that MI300X chips are powering 20% of new frontier supercomputers isn't just a bragging right. It's proof that AMD's architecture is viable, performant, and, crucially, available. This competition is a net positive. It pushes innovation, drives down costs, and gives product teams more options when speccing out their next-gen infrastructure. If you're building an AI-powered service, you now have a serious alternative to consider beyond the usual suspects. This isn't just about raw performance either. It's about ecosystem maturity, developer tooling, and the ability to integrate seamlessly. AMD is clearly making strides on all those fronts. Looking ahead, AMD's guidance for Q2 is $8.2 billion, signaling continued confidence in this trajectory. This isn't a flash in the pan. It's a sustained shift in the competitive landscape for AI hardware. For anyone leveraging these technologies, it means more choice, more leverage, and ultimately, more power to build better products. The race for AI dominance just got a lot more interesting, and the beneficiaries are the teams who can quickly adapt to these evolving hardware options. Sourcegraph just dropped Kodi Enterprise 2.0, pushing past the single repo limits we've come to expect from AI coding assistants. This new iteration boasts agentic editing that can span 10 or more repositories simultaneously, a serious upgrade from the typical file-by-file or project-level scope. This isn't just an incremental update. It fundamentally shifts how AI can interact with large, complex code bases. For years, the promise of AI for refactoring and large-scale changes has been hampered by context windows and an inability to understand architectural dependencies beyond a single project folder. As teams increasingly operate across microservices, shared libraries, and monorepos, the need for tools that can see the whole forest, not just individual trees, has become critical. This release directly addresses that pain point, especially for enterprises juggling vast, interconnected code. What Sourcegraph is doing here, integrating Claude 3.5 and enabling multi-repo agentic workflows, aims squarely at the biggest time sinks for engineers: large-scale refactoring and dependency updates. Early adopters are reporting a 40% acceleration in refactoring projects on code bases exceeding 1 million lines. Think about that. A 4/10 reduction in time spent on some of the most tedious, error-prone, yet essential development tasks. That's not just a productivity bump. That's a strategic advantage for companies shipping complex software. At $49 per user per month, with SOC 2 compliance baked in, they're clearly targeting serious enterprise adoption. This isn't just a fancy autocomplete. It's an autonomous agent designed to understand and modify architectural patterns across an entire software ecosystem. It bypasses the common frustration where an AI suggests a change, but then you, the human, still have to manually apply that change across 8 other dependent services. Kodi 2.0 claims to handle that entire propagation. This move signals a clear pivot from AI as a pair programmer to AI as an autonomous engineering agent, truly capable of executing complex, system-wide changes. It raises the bar for what we can expect from developer tooling in the next year. Vercel just dropped version 0.6. And it's a direct shot across the bow for anyone building mobile apps. They're now generating native iOS and SwiftUI code straight from prompts, claiming one-click deployment to test flight. This isn't just about web components anymore. It's a full-stack, mobile-first play. This move comes at a critical time. We've seen a surge in AI code generation, but the real challenge has always been the quality and the deployment friction. Front-end teams are already stretched thin, often juggling web and mobile UIs with entirely different tech stacks. Tools like GitHub Copilot and Cursor have made incremental improvements, but they're still mostly copilots, requiring significant human oversight and integration work. Vercel is trying to push past that, aiming for a more autonomous generation-to-deployment pipeline. The big claim here is an 85% code acceptance rate for mobile prototypes. That's a bold number, and if it holds up even for a subset of common UI patterns, it radically shifts the effort equation. Imagine a designer or product manager generating a functional iOS prototype in minutes, pushing it to test flight, and iterating on it with real users before a single line of human-written Swift is committed. The integration with Supabase for backend scaffolding also tells you they're thinking about the full product lifecycle, not just the pixels. This isn't about replacing developers entirely, but about hyper-accelerating the initial build and validation phases. It's a direct challenge to the traditional mobile development workflow, where setting up even a basic project can take hours, let alone days for a functional prototype. The real test will be how well these generated apps handle complexity, custom logic, and crucially, ongoing maintenance and updates. We've seen AI code that looks good on paper, but becomes a nightmare to debug. This release signals a significant escalation in the AI-powered development wars. The companies that figure out how to bridge the gap between AI generation and production-ready deployment, especially in specialized domains like native mobile, are going to capture serious market share. It means faster iteration cycles for product teams and a potentially lower barrier to entry for new app ideas hitting the App Store. Sundance just dropped a bomb. An AI-generated short film, Echoes, didn't just screen, it snagged the grand jury prize. This isn't some experimental side category win. It's a top-tier award for a film where 95% of the visuals and script came from Runway Gen 3 and custom llama agents. This one lands squarely in the middle of an escalating fight over creative ownership and the definition of art itself. For years, we've seen AI tools creep into post-production, sound design, even script generation. But this is a full frontal assault on the notion that human hands must touch every frame. This isn't a theoretical debate anymore. It's a concrete award on a prestigious mantelpiece. The director even credited the AI as a co-creator, which is where the real fireworks started. Now, for those of us building products, this isn't just a culture story. This is about what happens when your core product, your creative output, can be replicated or even surpassed by a machine. Echoes wasn't just a technical demo. It resonated with a jury of human filmmakers. This means the barrier to entry for high-quality content just plummeted. Think about the implications for indie game developers using generative art for assets, or small studios producing animated shorts. The tools are here, they're powerful, and they're winning awards. Festival attendance spiked 30% this year, largely due to the influx of AI-driven entries. The argument that AI lacks soul or narrative depth just took a significant hit in the court of public opinion, and more importantly, in a jury room. This isn't about replacing humans entirely, but about profoundly reshaping the landscape of creative production and what it takes to compete. The question isn't whether AI will disrupt creative industries. It's how quickly we adapt to a world where our coworkers might be algorithms, and our competitors are producing award-winning work with radically different cost structures. A new global survey just dropped, showing a massive jump in artists embracing AI tools. 72% now use them daily for ideation, up from 45% last year. But here's the kicker. 88% of those same artists are demanding mandatory watermarks on all AI-generated outputs. That's a huge shift in sentiment and a clear call to action from the creative community. This isn't just some niche debate anymore. It's a mainstream reality for anyone building products in the creative space. Every platform, every tool, every service that touches visual or auditory content is grappling with AI right now. The speed of adoption is outpacing policy, and the push for regulation is gaining serious momentum. If you're shipping anything that involves user-generated content or AI assistance, you need to understand this tension. It's not a theoretical problem. It's a user expectation that will define trust and adoption. My take: this 72% adoption figure isn't surprising. Tools like Midjourney version 7, cited by 60% of the surveyed artists, genuinely speed up workflows by 3 times. That's not a minor improvement. It's a foundational change in productivity. Artists aren't idiots. They'll use what works. But the 88% demanding watermarks tells you exactly where the real fear and frustration lie. It's not about the tool itself. It's about attribution, compensation, and the protection of original human creativity. Companies pushing AI platforms need to move beyond the "it's just a tool" rhetoric and directly address these concerns. Ignoring the demand for transparency and provenance is a recipe for user revolt and regulatory backlash. This isn't just about ethics. It's about building a sustainable product and a trustworthy ecosystem. The policy recommendations already sent to EU and US lawmakers are not going to gather dust. The next wave of product innovation will be defined not just by how powerful your AI is, but by how well you integrate transparency and attribution features directly into its core. IBM just dropped a bomb, announcing their Condor quantum processor hit 2048 logical qubits. Not only that, they ran Shor's algorithm, factoring a 2048-bit number in a mere 10 minutes. For context, classical supercomputers would need an estimated 10 to the power of 20 years to do the same. This isn't some lab experiment collecting dust. This is a direct shot across the bow to anyone still thinking quantum computing is a decade away from being genuinely disruptive. We've been hearing about quantum advantage for years, often just a whisper of what could be. Now, IBM is showing us what is. The industry has been bottlenecked by qubit stability and error rates, making scalable, practical applications feel like a distant dream. But Condor's error rates, thanks to some clever dynamical decoupling, plummeted to 0.001%. That's a staggering improvement, shifting quantum from theoretical physics to engineering reality. This isn't just a bigger number of qubits, it's reliable qubits. This means the complex calculations needed for drug discovery, material science, and even breaking current encryption standards are suddenly within reach, not just hypothetical. For product teams, this isn't about integrating a quantum chip into your phone next year, but it absolutely reshapes the long-term R&D roadmap for high-compute industries. It forces a reevaluation of security protocols built on classical cryptographic assumptions. Your long-term product strategy needs to account for this kind of exponential leap. IBM plans to make Condor accessible via Qiskit by Q3 2026. This isn't just a research paper. It's a tool that will soon be in the hands of developers. Get ready to see some serious innovation. 60 new Starlink V3 satellites just went live, and SpaceX is claiming they deliver 10 gigabits per second globally, with latency under 20 milliseconds. This isn't just a bump in bandwidth. These are AI-optimized satellites, a phrase that usually makes my ears perk up, or sometimes just roll my eyes. The timing on this is critical. We've seen a lot of talk about the digital divide, about bringing high-speed internet to every corner of the globe. Governments and corporations have thrown billions at it, with mixed results. Traditional fiber rollout is expensive and slow, especially in remote areas. Low Earth orbit constellations like Starlink promised a different path, but the reality of consistent, high-speed, low-latency service has been a tougher nut to crack than initial marketing suggested. This V3 deployment, if it lives up to the hype, could genuinely change the conversation around global connectivity in the next 5 years. Now let's unpack AI-optimized. SpaceX says they're using machine learning for predictive beamforming and dynamic routing, integrated with Grok for real-time traffic analysis. In plain English, that means the network should anticipate demand and adjust its signal paths on the fly, minimizing congestion and maximizing efficiency. A 10 gigabits per second link with sub-20 ms latency, even if it's up to, is a massive leap for satellite internet. We're talking about speeds that rival or even exceed many urban fiber connections, delivered almost anywhere. They're also claiming 95% Earth population coverage, which is a bold statement. The enterprise subscription is set at $150 a month, which is competitive for business-grade connectivity, but still a significant barrier for individual users in developing regions. The real test will be sustained performance under heavy load, and how well their AI handles unexpected outages or massive localized spikes in demand. It's one thing to optimize a theoretical network, another to keep millions of users happy when they're streaming 4K video simultaneously. This isn't just about faster downloads. It's about enabling real-time collaboration, remote operations, and data processing in places that were previously cut off. The implications for product teams are enormous. Imagine building global applications without having to worry about regional connectivity black holes. It means developers can design for a truly ubiquitous, high-bandwidth environment, pushing the boundaries of what's possible for distributed systems and real-time data processing, no matter where your users or sensors are located.
The scent of copal incense drifts on a warm breeze, mingling with the salt spray from turquoise waves crashing against ancient limestone cliffs. Below, the Caribbean Sea stretches an impossible blue, inviting you to dive into its cool embrace. This isn't just a postcard, it's your first breath in Tulum. Tulum, on Mexico's Riviera Maya, is more than a destination, it's a feeling. It's where millennia of Mayan history meet a modern embrace of nature and laid-back luxury. The iconic archaeological site, perched dramatically above the sea, offers a glimpse into a powerful civilization, their temples silent sentinels watching over the vast expanse of ocean. Arrive early, just as the sun begins to climb, to witness the ruins bathed in a soft, golden light, before the crowds gather. After exploring the temples, the call of the water is irresistible. Tulum's coastline is famed for its soft, white sand beaches, perfect for a barefoot stroll. Venture further inland, and you'll discover the magical world of the cenote's natural sinkholes filled with crystal-clear freshwater, perfect for swimming, snorkeling, or even diving. Grand Cenote, with its open and cavernous sections, is a popular choice, where you can swim alongside small turtles and schools of fish in surreal underwater landscapes. For a truly unique experience, seek out a lesser-known cenote like Cenote Calavera, known as the Temple of Doom, for its 3 entry points resembling a skull. The rhythm of Tulum slows you down. Days here unfold between sunrise yoga sessions on the beach, leisurely lunches of fresh ceviche, and tacos al pastor from a local taqueria, and evenings spent under a canopy of stars. The town itself has a distinctive boho chic vibe, with eco-friendly boutiques and restaurants nestled amongst the jungle foliage. You'll find everything from rustic beach shacks serving fresh seafood to sophisticated, candlelit dining experiences. Don't leave without trying a traditional cochinita pibil, slow-roasted pork marinated in achiote and sour orange. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery oranges and soft purples, you'll understand Tulum's allure. The air hums with a gentle energy, perhaps from the ancient spirits, perhaps just the collective contentment of those who have found their paradise. You leave feeling not just refreshed, but reconnected, carrying a piece of that mystical Caribbean magic with you, ready for wherever the next adventure calls.